This is how it started, and this is how it ended.
It's known as the darling shot of Hollywood, injectable prescription medicine hailed by celebrities as the holy grail of weight loss.
Vamos aplicar então a Ozempic.
And everyone, it seems, is scrambling to get their hands on it. It's called Ozempic.
People with type 2 diabetes are excited about the potential of once-weekly.
Developed and registered to treat type 2 diabetes and the associated risks of heart disease, over the past few years, Ozempic and other similar drugs have become game changers for many.
No matter how hard I'm trying with diet, with exercise, with following all the advice that I'm doing, I'm just not getting into the non-dangerous levels of my blood sugar readings.
Natalie Horn is a type 2 diabetic, struggling to control her blood sugar levels. 3 years ago, her doctor suggested she look into a new course of treatment, injections to help regulate sugar levels and the production of insulin in her body.
We ended up going with a brand called 𝗀𝗁cie, and within weeks, my sugar went from about the 8 to 10 range right down to 5.5, 6 range. Still doing exactly what I'd been doing before. So it was incredibly effective for my sugar levels.
𝗀𝗁cie and Ozempic, and others like Mounjaro and Saxenda, are part of a class of drugs known as GLP-1 agonists. They are all similar but work with different active ingredients, and some patients respond better to certain products.
I could immediately feel the health benefits. My energy levels shot up as I was losing the weight. Mentally, it was such a huge weight, not just a physical weight, but a mental weight off me, knowing that I'm treating my body better.
Ozempic is a synthetic drug inspired by the venomous saliva of a Native American reptile called the Gila monster. These giant lizards can go for long periods without eating because of a specific hormone that's similar to the GLP hormone in humans.
So when you're hungry, there are hormones in your stomach that will go up and say, go and seek food. Once you've got food and the calories are now moving down the bowel, you need something to stop the system and say, we've eaten enough and now we're done. So GLP is one of those signaling hormones that will say, now we've hit satiety.
Endocrinologist Dr. Wayne May explains that Ozempic and other GLP-1 agonists mimic that natural hormone, making you less hungry and fuller for longer. And of course, that leads to significant weight loss for most patients.
Ozempic will lose you on average about 15% body weight, which is 3 times what we were looking at before. And on occasions, you get some super responders who might even lose 20, 25, 30% body weight.
And this is what all the fuss is about. Finally, a weight loss drug that really works.
Day one of Ozempic, obviously.
The demand for drugs like Ozempic has skyrocketed, and the manufacturers simply can't keep up.
Within 6 months of me starting on 𝗀𝗁cie, all of a sudden, all of it, 𝗀𝗁cie, Ozempic, anything like that just wasn't available from pharmacists anymore.
Novo Nordisk, the Danish company that manufactures Ozempic, sold more than $30 billion worth of diabetic and obesity drugs in 2023. But the world wants more, and those who need it are struggling to get it.
The issue where it's gone wrong is that the wrong people use it, the ones who are just slightly overweight, and they shouldn't be using it. This is to treat excess weight and associated comorbidities.
GLP-1 agonists are not meant for cosmetic weight loss, even though thousands of people are turning to these drugs. The true value of these medicines is in the treatment of obesity.
I weighed 122 kilos, which is the highest that I've ever weighed in my entire life.
Tasneem Alexander has always struggled with her weight.
COVID was one of the worst things that could have happened to me in terms of my health. Because not only did I not have access to people that saw me, that would say, Tasneem, something's not okay, but also you at home, you were not exercising properly, and I think it's a banana bread pandemic, you know?
Right, I remember.
Post-pandemic, 𝗀𝗵𝗶 tried to turn her health around. She changed her diet, started exercising, but with little success. In 2022, she consulted Dr. May and he prescribed Ozempic.
Why was Ozempic the right choice for her?
So I think in terms of 𝗀𝗵𝗶, she had a markedly high BMI, sitting at about 40. Along with that, she also had comorbidities. She had polycystic ovarian syndrome, she was pre-diabetes, and she had asthma as well.
But medical intervention, especially when it comes to obesity, has always raised eyebrows.
Throwing a pill at somebody that is going to use one mechanism to help them lose weight still doesn't answer the question, why did they gain weight in the first place?
Dr. 𝗀𝗵𝗶𝘀𝗁 heads the Nutrition Network and is an advocate for the low-carb, high-fat diet. Like many others, she questions the widespread use of GLP-1 agonists.
It's a quick fix. Pharmaceuticals is not going to be the answer to a disease that is caused by lifestyle. It should be the reversal of whatever caused that problem.
Deeply disappointing to me.
Long-time activist for equitable access to HIV treatments, Professor François Venter, says the current debates around GLP-1 agonists are similar to those around antiretrovirals in the 1990s.
These new drugs are not just game changers, they're life changers. So people who have established obesity, who have gained weight, it's next to impossible to shift without chemical help. That's the sad reality.
There's so much stigma around weight gain and obesity. A lot of people think, well, you gain the weight through eating. Isn't that a choice? Shouldn't you be making better decisions about your life?
It's almost a moral judgment on people for gaining weight, which is very similar to in the HIV field. You don't blame the person for having HIV. You talk about the forces around it, you know. And the same with obesity. Obesity experts don't talk like that. They say, you know, you're putting on weight because your environment, coupled with your genetics, but with whatever is going on.
Over 50% of adults in South Africa are classified as obese. And while poor diet and lifestyle choices play a role, it is far more complicated than that.
You have all sorts of body mechanisms and physiology that says, we're not going to let you go if it feels like you're starving, and you will shut down all sorts of parts of your body to try and conserve that weight.
Besides often fighting their own genetics, many obese patients don't necessarily have the luxury of choice.
Poor people, for instance, are particularly predisposed towards having obesity is because they have less choices and that are forced upon them.
Till the dose counter shows 0.
And at the moment, the option of using medicine like Ozempic does not come cheap. A month's supply will cost anything from 2,000 Rand to 5,000 Rand, depending on the brand.
People are desperate and they are willing to do almost anything for these drugs. Watching the exploitation, not just from the drug manufacturers who make the drugs, but also from people selling counterfeit drugs, is disgusting.
When anything's in high demand and it's not available, then everybody who's got a plot and a scheme comes out of the woodwork. So now what's happened is there are people who are cooking it up in different places. We don't know what's in those medications. I don't know what's in them. I don't know what the doses are. And if I don't know what I'm giving to a patient, if you get a side effect, I don't know what you're having a side effect to or a reaction to.
I'm still phoning pharmacies. I'm looking online, and I'm seeing online people selling Ozempic type of injections, and I'm mortified because you don't know what's inside these things. But I'll tell you, I was tempted.
But it's not just counterfeits that pose health risks.
Serious side effects may include pancreatitis. Gallbladder problems may occur.
Even the real deal comes with side effects.
So there are a few studies that are showing the risk of these drugs. You know, one of the most common ones being nausea, vomiting, digestive issues, and they're quite catastrophic in many cases. There are others that show the risk associated with types of cancers like pancreatic cancers.
There are often gastrointestinal side effects, which can be a little bit unpleasant. Most of the side effects are simply annoying rather than, life-threatening or even, serious.
Segunda semana tomar Ozempic.
The debates around the use and purpose of drugs like Ozempic keep raging, but the fact is, in the right hands and with proper medical oversight, these medicines are effective and are changing lives.
This is not simply a cosmetic thing where people lose weight. People lose weight, your blood pressure comes down, all your metabolic parameters get better, there's less strokes, there's less heart failure, there's less kidney disease, less liver disease. People need access to this for their health, not just to make themselves look better.